What is going on, Raiders? Soda Dragon here, and today I'm helping you get through the Barbarian Faction Crypt Stage 21 with only 2 champs. The cool thing about this team is one of the champs is free and the other champ is just a rare, so this team is very accessible. And here is your team, guys. All you need is Scylla the Drakes and Sentinel. So this would be the absolute minimum you need to beat this stage, but to 3-star, all you need to do is bring in 3 more of your strongest Barbarian champs and you should beat this just fine. So one suggestion on who else to add to your team, I would definitely suggest you bring in High Katoon here. She makes this run so much easier as a trio rather than a duo. The only reason I didn't use her is because she's not necessary to the run. She makes the run happen a lot faster, but she is not necessary to it. But definitely add her in. You should have her after a month. Use her as her speed lead, and she's going to make this run a lot easier than just adding 2 more Barbarians for that 3-star. But we are not going to use her because, as I mentioned, she is not necessary to this run at all. So if you accidentally had High Katoon but you like fed her as a chicken champ, don't worry, she is not necessary. But yeah, if you have her, use her. So first up, guys, let's talk about this boss and his skills. Now, this version of the boss called the Disruptor does have a lot of CC effects like provokes, true fears, and also freezes, but we're not going to worry about them really. Now, with the provokes and the true fears, you can resist them, so that's what we're going to try to do. But with the freezes, the chance is so low that we really don't have to worry about it. Now, I recommend running a high resist team, but it really isn't necessary. So really don't worry about those CC effects once you get to the boss. If you have enough sustain, that is healing, you should be fine. Now, the first thing we're going to do once we get to the boss is target those minions because both of them heal that main boss here, the Disruptor. So we're going to need to kill both of them off first. Then we're going to start killing that main boss off finally once it stops getting that healing from the ads. So guys, let's talk about how this team works, starting with Sentinel here. So what does he do? Well, firstly, his A1 has an 85% chance to provoke when he gets a crit. This is a booked chance, by the way. Now we can increase this to actually 90% chance to provoke with his A1 when he gets a crit with Fearsome Presence, that mastery. So we're definitely going to go that route. So basically with this A1, we can completely lock down one of the enemies. We won't let them freely take their turns. We're going to force them to use their A1s. So there's a few enemies on wave 1 and wave 2 that we are going to need to completely lock down. We cannot allow them to use their cooldown skills. So this is what Sentinel is primarily bringing to the table. And he has a really nice AoE decreased attack and heal reduction debuff on his A2, plus he has a self-healing passive. So yes, he's taking damage from those enemies after he provokes them and they hit him with that A1, but he's self-healing from it, plus we got Scylla the Drakes coming in and giving him extra healing as well. Next up, guys, we got Scylla the Drakes. So what is she doing for the team? Well, every time she takes a turn, she's healing everybody on the team for 10% of their max health. Plus she has an AoE stun and a decreased speed and decreased turn meter on her A1, and she revives as well. So really everything in her kit we're going to make use of except for that revive because Sentinel is not going to die. We're not going to need it. Alright guys, so in round 1, here is the guy that we want to kill off first. He's going to be Broadmaw. Why is this? Well, not only is he a reviver and he revives with block damage, super annoying, but he also has an increased crit rate and increased speed over the whole team, and he has a freeze on his A1, so we definitely want to kill him off first. We're going to control him the whole time with Sentinel and with Scylla the Drakes' stun, decrease his speed, decrease his turn meter, and just kill him off first. So it can't increase anyone's speed, freeze any of your team, or revive anybody if they happen to die before him. So guys, for round 2, there are 2 people that we're going to need to control, and the first up is Maneater here. Why is this? Because he casts Unkillable and a block debuff buff over the whole team, so this is going to be really hard to deal with if we allow him to cast this. So we do not want him to cast this even once. So we're going to control him the whole time, once again with Sentinel's A1 and with Scylla the Drakes, in particular her stun, but also her turn meter reduction and decreased speed. And the second person we want to control in wave 2 is Steel Skull here. So ideally we want to control both Steel Skull and Maneater at the same time. Now, if you just target the Maneater and forget about Steel Skull here, here's what's going to happen. You're going to stun or you're going to provoke that Maneater. All of a sudden, Steel Skull is going to come in with his A2 and cleanse Maneater of that provoke or of that stun, and that Maneater is going to cast Unkillable and that block debuffs buff over everybody and make your run a lot longer. So make sure you don't forget about this guy here, Steel Skull, because he's a single target cleanser, which can be very problematic. So yes, you do need to control both really at the same time. Now once either the Man-Eater or the Steel Skull is dead, we're going to go targeted auto. So it's just auto time after that. Turn on the auto and target the other guy that's not dead, either the Steel Skull or that Man-Eater. And once you go through that round, once you get to the boss, make sure to target the ads first because they heal that main boss. But that's it. Once you kill one of these guys, either the Man-Eater or that Steel Skull, the rest of the time it is auto. So guys, there are no skill instructions for this team. Everyone's just running default, and this run is quite long, but this is to show you that this is the absolute minimum that you need to beat this stage. This isn't for you guys to go out and replicate this and run it with a duo. Run your team of 5, cut the time down a lot, okay? Don't run just 2 right here. This is just to show you this is the absolute minimum that you need. So definitely fill out your team of 5 and get this run done a lot faster. But if you want proof that this is all you need, then yeah, you're gonna get that proof. Alright guys, on to everyone's gear stats and masteries, starting with Syl of the Drakes here. So how have I geared her? I have her in a Relentless set and an Immortal set. On to her total stats. So her HP I have at 62,000. I have her attack at 1700, defense 3200, speed 199, crit rate 25%, crit damage 154%, resist 294, and accuracy 254. So if you want to run a high resistance team for Faction Wars 21, you're going to need about 300 resistance. Now the accuracy for really all stage 21s of Faction Wars is about 200 only, so very reasonable. But once again, the high resistance, you're going to need about 300. On to our masteries. So down the offense tree here, we do have War Master, so we're getting bonus damage based off enemy max HP, really good for bosses. And down the support tree here, these three masteries here, they help out with her passive healing, so they increase the passive healing amounts depending on certain criteria. So very nice for Syl of the Drakes, Doom Priest, champs like that. Here we do have Spirit Haste, so when an ally dies, she gets a speed boost, but for this particular run, it's not going to be useful because, you know, Sentinel's not going to die. And here we also have Sniper, so this increases the chances of her landing her A1 decreased speed debuff. A very, very useful debuff. So yes, this increases the chances of landing that. It will not increase the chance of her landing her stun, but the A1 decreased speed, yes, it will increase the chance of landing that. Next up guys is Sentinel, so how have I geared him? I have him in a Relentless set and an Immortal set. Onto his total stats. So I have his HP at 61,000, the attack at 1600, defense 2200, speed 198, crit rate 100%, crit damage 110%, resist 294, and accuracy 215. Onto his masteries. So down the defense tree here, we do have Fearsome Presence, so we're increasing the chances of landing his A1 Provoke by 5%. Now down the support tree here, we do have Sniper, so we're increasing the chances of landing that decreased attack and that heal reduction debuff on his A2 by 5%. And we are also potentially increasing those debuffs from 2 to 3 turns with Master Hexer here. Alright guys, that is it for today. I hope this helps you beat that Stage 21 faction crypt for the Barbarians. Make sure to check out my Faction Wars playlist if you need help with other Faction Wars stages. And if you haven't yet, like, subscribe, and share. Turn on all notifications. Stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next video.